Hello everybody, welcome to another Making Monday Lovable video. And today's video will be a little bit different than usual, but still with a scientific approach and touch. So I call this video today my personal special effect, my disability. And there are several reasons why I decided to talk about it. And for you that don't know, I do have a disability. Officially, I'm 50% disabled. That's written on my disability ID that I have from Germany. Now, I realized with the time that I live my life now, most of the people don't even notice it. They have met me, they worked with me, they interacted with me, but they have never noticed my disability. And what I have is called split hand and foot malformation. It's a type of ectrodactyly. It's when the limbs, so hand, feet, arms, legs, look differently. And in my case, it looks like this. My hands look like that. So I have 3 1/3 fingers and 5 fingers, like right hand and left hand. This is part of my disability. I have the same on my feet, but my feet look a little bit different. I have just fewer toes. And even though to me it is such an obvious difference compared to normally 10-fingered and 10-toes people, many people don't notice it. And if they notice, they've told me afterwards, they don't even think there's a point to asking even. And some people that I get to know that I notice that they notice it, they don't ask me, and I usually feel disappointed. Why wouldn't they want to know? But I know that it's a very tricky topic in society, so many people don't dare to ask. But for me, as I never really cared and I don't really bother about it, I don't mind to talk about it. And I did have some questions. And I want to give you the scientific angle from it, because actually, now you know that I'm a scientist. I've done my PhD in plant physiology, and now I coupled that to art, so I became a scientific illustrator. But my actual starting thesis, my first scientific work that put me on this path, ending right now here, is in connection to my disability and high school. Because in high school, I chose advanced classes, which were, surprise, surprise, biology and art. And then we had to do an exam work in one of these two. And I chose biology. Then we had the choice to choose between theory or practical exam work, which was around 6 weeks that we had to work on a certain topic and deliver like a thesis in a way. And I didn't want to really work on Drosophila flies or things like this. So it came, like, my idea arose that I thought, I asked my teacher if I can actually use myself and my family as, the practical objects, so that I can write my exam work on the disability that's running through my family. And I had these huge plans, like, oh my God, I'm gonna do and find out what this disability is about, what changes in my genome are causing this. So I had these big plans, and my teacher, she agreed to it. So then I dug into all kinds of material we had at home, because I had several surgeries when I was younger, also when I grew up a little bit older, same to my sister. So I've had x-rays, pictures, I had all this material and data at home. And then I got in contact with the human genetics laboratory that also, what are the odds, they were working on split hand foot malformation, and they were located in Cologne, where I grew up, where I was living. So I contacted them, I went to them, and I got additional materials and talked with the researchers, and pretty quickly they kind of destroyed a bit my dream, because they said it's impossible to find out about what causes that that disease in you and your family in that time. But anyways, my teacher agreed, and then I just collected all the things I had, did phylogenetic analysis, did my first scientific illustrations, actually my first drawings, I will soon get my thesis, so maybe further down the line I will show you some of my drawings. And then I, just discussed all the things about the disability, the hereditary traits, and what it means, how it looks before, after surgery. And one of the cool things maybe that I could show you now is that on that hand I have 5 fingers, which this one maybe is the middle finger, but actually it's not, because when you look at the bone structure, here is the middle bone structure, and then it merges with this one and becomes 1 finger. So that one is actually my 2nd finger, and I have a double thumb. So I have 1 bone split in 2 and 2 bones merged into 1. So it's pretty cool features to me, I think, at least. So these were the things that I was doing, and I wrote this exam work, got an awesome grade, and was super happy about it. And after high school, I decided biology or art. So I went to biology, applied for a bachelor's of biology in Cologne, and wanted to stay there, so I didn't apply anywhere else. And then I thought, okay, you will have to work in the lab when you become a biologist, a scientist. You don't know if you like to work in the lab. Let's go to the same laboratory again and ask them if you actually now can do the research on what causes this disability in your family. I did that, and they said, like, sure, no problem, you can do an internship in our lab. They gave me all the materials that I needed to draw, blood samples from me and my family members. I went to Poland in that summer for vacations. So I had an aunt that she was an emergency nurse. She went with me to all my relatives. I drew their blood samples and I collected them and took them back to Germany, and then did my internship for 6 or 7 weeks. And in that internship, I worked in a lab with a PhD student back then, and she guided me through everything, DNA extraction, working with blood samples, sequencing, PCR, gels. I did all the things on my own blood samples and the blood samples of my relatives. And in the end, we got the sequencing results. So I managed to get a phylogenetic tree and find out that I think it was a deletion or something in chromosome 3. It's now like over 10 years ago, so I don't remember exactly anymore. But it was awesome and amazing. And in that time, I realized I really like to work in the lab, and I like to be a scientist. It's like solving riddles, basically. And then it was super personalized because it was about me and my family. So it was amazing. So this is how everything started, how I started to pursue this path of science. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. That it's quite the personal path, actually. And I thought also, I never really cared about my disability. I'm quite fortunate that I have never been mobbed, for example. I never had the feeling that I was less worth or less valuable than others just because I have fewer fingers. I was always good in art, so actually I could see my surrounding. I was doing the art homeworks for my classmates because they hated it, they couldn't do it. And then me, Daria, with like 8 1/3 fingers, was drawing the people's art because with 10 fingers they were not able to. So I was quite fortunate in my life to not have experienced really bad situations, and all my surroundings were super, like they were just normal because it's not a big deal for me. In the lab, I would just like put the additional fingers down into the gloves, for example. It was never a problem if I had to come with crutches either into my elementary school. Well, that was a wheelchair, or in crutches during my studies because I had surgeries. Never any problem. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you today. And it is a personal topic, but it's also very scientific. And I like the connection through it and what I turned out into. And now that I have these both parts, and yeah, my disability never really inhibited me. I could always do whatever I wanted. I felt like it was never any problem. I would just go for what I like. And yeah, that's where I ended up. So I hope you like this little personal story. Let me know if you want to know more, because I really don't mind to talk about it. Write me a message or something. I don't mind. Yeah, that should be it for today. I wish you a great Monday, and I wish you a great week, and talk to you next Monday. Bye bye.